Well, it would finally seem that the reign of King Piccolo may be finally under siege. Hey guys, DB Rai here, and today I am here continuing with What If King Piccolo Defeated Master Mutaito? And, well, this timeline basically resulted in King Piccolo not being sealed away by the Mafuba and has had quite the nasty reign of terror throughout the, last century or so. And basically, continuing right where we left off, after Kakarot finally able to escape custody of King Piccolo, him turning into his Great Ape Ozaru form and managing to escape. King Piccolo is out trying to look for Kakarot to keep him back in chains and use him as a weapon to maintain his dominance over the planet. However, something else has now happened to keep the mighty King Piccolo busy. And just to go into further detail on what it's like in this dark King Piccolo world, is that most of the original members of the Dragon Team are taken out at this point. Martial artists have more or less been exterminated, with the exception of a couple. Tien Shinhan, for example, and his school, the Crane Hermit School, Chaozu, Tien, Master Crane, they pretty much have been wiped out. Mercenary Tao was still running around out there somewhere, him, walking away from his brother's teachings a long time ago and his life as an assassin. Yes, Tao is still around. Chi-Chi, the daughter of the Ox King, is also still around. The Ox King basically sacrificing himself so Chi-Chi could get out. And Chi-Chi is basically living with the desert bandit Yamcha at this point, who is kept away from King Piccolo's radar, him basically being, in the wasteland, living in the desert land. So, basically, with Roshi, Kami, and Goku left to, basically oppose King Piccolo. However, there is been a joint faction with the militaries of planet Earth joining together, putting their differences aside in order to stop this menace. And that is the Royal Army, the Red Ribbon Army, joining factions, and they're not the only factions that are joining together. The Red Ribbon Army scientist, Dr. Gero, and Capsule Corp's Dr. Briefs have all joined factions in order to stop King Piccolo. So yes, the Red Ribbon Army aren't bad guys in this timeline. Right now, the only bad guy is King Piccolo. Even the Pilaf gang are pulling in their resources to try and stop King Piccolo. After all, since his reign, and everyone has only known the reality of King Piccolo's terror, no one knows about the Dragon Balls at this point. Except, obviously, Kami. And, well, Kami has got his own sort of side of the planet of things going on. With Kami and Roshi trying to calm Kakarot down, who has some serious trust issues with everyone on the planet at the moment. After all, when he landed on Earth, the first thing that happened was him being taken away by Piccolo's Legion and being held as a prisoner and a slave to King Piccolo's will. All he's known so far from Earth is cruelty. So it takes him quite a bit of while to accept that Kami and Roshi mean him no harm. But once he does finally get over it and realize it, it is, nose to the grindstone and down to some serious training. And meanwhile, Kami is having the lookout moved, so they can basically gather up the Dragon Balls. Kami being the only one who knows where they all are. After all, he is the guardian of Earth and watches everything. Kami basically explaining to Roshi that the Dragon Balls will not be able to make Piccolo disappear, or so as they think. As far as that power just cannot exceed the power of the Guardian of the Earth. The dragon just can't do that. However, Kami intends to use the Dragon Balls to make himself young again and restore his power to his youth, so he can at least best the Demon King once and for all. After all, remember, at this point, King Piccolo is old, nearly ancient. He could actually die at any second. And remember, without Pilaf there, King Piccolo doesn't know about the existence of the Dragon Balls. But isn't he just a part of Kami? How could he not know that? Well, according to the manga and the lore of the anime, King Piccolo only found out about the Dragon Balls thanks to Pilaf telling him about it. So we're going to stick with that side of the story. King Piccolo knows nothing about them, and that they are basically the biggest threat to his reign. And well, as it turns out, these military efforts are actually giving Piccolo a hard time with him keeping his reign. His kingdom is beginning to be overrun by these humans who are just able to build more superior weapons, especially with Dr. Briefs and Bulma helping out with the effort, to be able to hold weapons that basically rely on Ki to basically operate them. This gives them a pretty much level playing field in dealing with the monsters. And Bulma, who's got a very special invention of her own. And I'm talking about the Ki mech suit. You might remember the Ki mech suit from Moscow X's What If Bulma Trained Like Goku? After years of living under King Piccolo's tyranny, she studied these monsters well and realized they used a different sort of energy source that powers their attacks. That, of course, being Ki. And her researching it and getting a little bit of understanding of it, especially after, being the likes of certain other warriors who can use Ki, like Mercenary Tao, who is still a sanctioned mercenary that the Red Ribbon Army uses. She's able to speed up her research in that way, and actually getting training lessons from Mercenary Tao himself. So she can actually do Dodon Wave and things like that. And with this mech suit that enhances her abilities, she's quite the formidable player in this team. She can take on most of King Piccolo's legions, and when you have the likes of Major Metallotron and Android Number 8, who, thanks to Dr. Brief's contributions, are a lot more powerful than their original counterparts, the human race is actually forming quite a formidable resistance against King Piccolo and his men. And with Roshi, who has taken on Kakarot as his basic pupil, they are training in the Room of Spirit and Time together. Now, it does seem a bit overwhelming for Kakarot, but with Master Roshi sort of in there with him, he's able to at least help out the young boy. And by the time that they come out of their year together in the Room of Spirit and Time, Kakarot has basically bridged the power gap that he has with his original counterpart. Kakarot in this timeline is not as strong as Goku from the main timeline in this part of the story. But with that training in the hyperbolic time chamber, and with having that extra person to be able to carry the mental baggage that comes with training in the Room of Spirit and Time, and Kakarot being a Saiyan, he's able to pull it off and basically catch up to the power that he would have had if this had have been the original timeline. Meanwhile, Kami has managed to gather the Dragon Balls and has summoned Shenron and has asked to have his youth restored for eternal youth. Because, obvious with threats like King Piccolo around, planet Earth needs a guardian of the Earth who can actually defend it. And after restoring his own youth, he decides he's going to take a trip in the Room of Spirit and Time as well, in order to train himself up and get himself back up to speed. He probably could defeat King Piccolo the way he is, but he wants to absolutely make sure. He is willing to destroy King Piccolo and have his himself taken out with him in order to restore peace. King Piccolo has gone too far. And well, with things in the front line with the combined efforts of the Red Ribbon Royal Army, yes, the combined alliance is the Red Ribbon Royal Alliance, actually being able to deal with most of King Piccolo's legion, he himself is having to come to the battlefield to battle. And it's not until he joins the battlefield that Bulma and the androids are essentially, when I say androids, I mean Android 8 and Major Metallotron, are struggling to battle with the evil Titan. And well, you actually thought you were gonna win this easily. Now you face the might of King Piccolo. And pretty much with a wave of his energy, they're pretty much being laid to waste, like they were nothing. And, well, with Kami finally emerging from the Room of Spirit and Time, they basically, yes, are moving the lookout to their location now, and basically are willing to fight. Kakarot is quite nervous with having to face King Piccolo. Are you really gonna make me fight that monster? Trust me, boy, you are ready for this. If you could handle the conditions of the Room of Spirit and Time, you could certainly handle that tyrant. You know what? You're right, Master Roshi. And well, this is where that Kami, Goku, and Roshi, well, Kakarot I should say, he's not Goku in this timeline. And yes, they do know his name is Kakarot. Kakarot was able to remember that he was a Saiyan. He hasn't hit himself in the head, and hasn't been met with, not being picked up by Grandpa Gohan in this timeline. There was no need for the name change. His name is Kakarot. And they are descending, ready to join in the fray and the battle against King Piccolo. And I think that is where we're going to leave things, at least for the time being. So what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this part? How are things going to go now with a now powered up Kakarot and a young Kami joining the fray? And will Master Roshi be able to pull off an evil containment wave and get rid of this maniac once and for all? All this and more next time as we venture in to part 4 of this spectacular story. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get this discussion going. Alright, I will see you guys again next time. Catch you later.